listening to A Balanced Juggle, helping women find balance in managing it all while achieving their own personal goals. Hey, welcome back to A Balanced Juggle. My name is Lena and you're listening to episode 12. So I have thus far lost 21 pounds. You'd think I should be thankful about it. And I'm not. I'm not thankful because I've been on this health and wellness regimen for the past, I would say, more than 4 months at this point. And even my doctor agrees that my weight loss should have been more substantial given the amount of work that I'm putting in. And, she's like, well, maybe it's because, you have that PCOS. It makes weight loss a little bit harder. And, we really need to see what you're doing. And given the amount of things or given the amount of work that I'm putting into it, again, my doctor feels that my weight loss should have been greater. I should have been way past 21 pounds. And that kind of disappoints me. I'm putting 110% in on top of everything else that I'm juggling. And I'm still, I'm not even getting the results I should. How disappointing is that? So on my last visit, my doctor recommended that I go see a registered dietitian. And that's exactly what I did. I reached out, found someone. They sent me some paperwork that I needed to fill out. Well, not really paperwork. They sent me some link to this questionnaire that I filled out that really covered everything down to, panty size. I'm just kidding. It included everything, habitual, routine, everything that I've done or do daily. So I go to my visit. She reviews all of this information with me and she goes, there's nothing I would change or recommend that you do different in terms of your movement, your eating habits. She's like, you're doing everything great. She says the one thing that I can tell you is directly affecting your ability to lose weight is your sleep pattern. And that, I thought how absurd is that? We all know as adults, we bitch and moan about not getting enough sleep all the time. I never in a million years would think sleep would directly affect my ability to effectively lose weight or even gain weight. And apparently it does. I came home, I started reading once again up different studies and different articles on the effects of insufficient sleep. And in addition to feeling like crap, groggy, frustrated, etc., apparently not getting sufficient sleep, even as an adult, directly affects your body's ability to lose weight. And she told me, she's like, if you start implementing a better sleep pattern for yourself, you'll notice your body will kick into gear and you'll start to lose weight at a better rate given what you're doing. Why is it important to get sleep? Not only for the obvious reasons, but for our weight loss and even to avoid weight gain. How many of us listening to this podcast can say they get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night? I can't. I get about 5. And it's not that I go to bed late and wake up early. You know what happens with me? I get up in the middle of the night. Every night religiously, I get up at a certain point. It's like an internal alarm clock to go to the bathroom. Once I go to the bathroom and I come back, instead of getting to sleep, my mind decides to ask me those unanswered universe type questions. That's it. I could never get back to sleep after that. Or I start thinking about these horrible scenarios about my children that just keeps me up at night. I don't know why that happens. And the result of that is me reaching to my phone to occupy myself in a different way. So I start checking email. I start browsing social media or what have you. And again, adding to that stimulation that does keep me awake. So I end up falling back asleep in the early hours of the morning and then getting up at 6:30. And again, it adds up to insufficient sleep for me. The results of that, we all know as adults, we're groggy in the morning. We didn't get enough sleep. We're prone to headaches. When I don't get enough sleep, I'm not the nicest person in the world. I can be rather mean. And it's all the more difficult when you are dealing with your children, with a spouse, with a partner, with staff. It's difficult to navigate those relationships when you have an underlying tone of, I call it pissed offedness. And it's not fun. So it's important for us to recognize that and be sure that we're getting enough slumber at the end of the night. So in addition to the obvious side effects of not getting sleep, let's talk about, in terms of weight loss, how does sleep affect your weight? And there are a few things on how sleep affect your weight loss or can lead to significant weight gain, right? If you don't get enough sleep, you have an increased level of hunger. Increased levels of hunger can lead to, overeating and weight gain. Now listen to this one. When you don't get enough sleep, that means you're up more to some extent, right? You can consume about 300 calories a day more than when you're well rested. Overall, the extra calories come from high-fat foods. When we're mentally, emotionally, and physically drained, our body tends to migrate towards those high-starchy, fat, comforty type foods. I mean, when I'm at my wit's end, I'm sorry, I am not going towards a salad. I'm just not. I mean, no, I'd rather go towards shepherd pie. Not that there's anything wrong with some shepherd pie. When you don't have enough sleep, you're too tired to do anything physical, right? I mean, who the hell has time to go walk 7 miles, much less 3? It's much easier to eat a snack. So obviously you're going to snack more and do less physical activity. So all in all, we see, not sleeping enough tends to lead us to eat more or consume more food and move less. So obviously that ratio leads to weight gain. Other research shows that too little sleep also plays havoc with your fat cells, which could lead to weight gain and type 2 diabetes. Well, type 2 diabetes, at this point, I should be the poster child of. All of those things are factors that lead towards that diagnosis. And again, type 2 diabetes for myself, as my doctor put it, is 100% lifestyle. I'm going to leave that right there. Now that we talked about these different issues that insufficient sleep can lead to and how it affects us, let's talk about strategies that we can use to implement. One of the things that I was told was to have a cutoff time for caffeine and just liquids in general. So my cutoff time usually for my last cup of coffee is usually around 3 to 4 o'clock. And apparently that's too late in the day. That caffeine can affect your ability to sleep at night. I never thought about that. I thought it was earlier enough in the day where it wouldn't have an effect, but apparently I could be wrong. This is all new to me. The dietitian told me to kind of cut coffee off from my diet earlier in the day, maybe not past, 12 or 2 p.m. Another thing is when I consume a lot of water. And one of the things she said is after 5, 6 o'clock, don't drink any more water, which was kind of hard for me because I drink a lot of water. I can't imagine going from 5 o'clock all the way to bedtime and not having a glass of water or something. I don't know at this point if I'm going to stick to that just because I drink a lot of water. We'll see how that works. But the overall goal in all of this is limiting the liquids so I don't wake up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. And I've been doing that for years. So I don't know if it's more habitual versus actually having to go. At this point, I don't know. Once I find that out, I'll certainly let y'all know though. Another thing is when I am unable to get back to sleep, don't pick up the phone. I've got to learn to control my mind. And that seems like an impossible task. Can one control their mind? Really and truly, can you 100% foolproof control your mind? I'm going to have to become a super yogi by the end of this. The big goal here is, when I'm getting to bed and or getting back from, my potty break, I have got to learn to control the direction of my mind. For some reason, at that hour of the night, it goes there. It goes to those unanswered questions. Why we're here? Who am I? What is this existence about? What am I doing with my life? Yada, yada. I mean, those are things you can't answer them right away, right? And those are the things that gets your brain generating to the extent where you're not going back to sleep. You've got to answer these friggin' questions. Or you think about that task list. Or you think about this is one of my biggest nightmares. I think about going to the store with my girls. And, you see those videos of people like abducting children. And I've got 2 girls with me. One gets one. It's just horrible. It's horrible. Things that keep you up. But I've got to learn to control my mind. The second part of that is, again, don't get to the point where you're picking up your phone. Don't pick up your, computer. Turn the TV off if it's on or if you put it on. And then this is an obvious one. This is some tips and tricks I actually found on WebMD. Number 2 on the list is save your bedroom for sleep and sex. All right. Well, what else? Whatever. So, and then also, third is creating a bedtime ritual. Take a warm bath, meditate, speaking of controlling your mind, or read. The reading thing, is this reading on a physical book? Is it reading in a physical book, or is it reading on your tablet? Because that's like electronics, right? I do a lot of reading at night before I go to bed. I'm usually on articles or doing something. So I'm not too sure about where the source of the reading is, and I'm not sure if that's even getting too technical. But creating a bedtime ritual in which your body and mind becomes familiar with, so it prepares you for sleep. And also getting back to the second part of that is, I think this is getting at don't operate functions in your bedroom. For instance, don't put your desk in your bedroom. Don't study in your bedroom. Don't officiate any office business or operate any office business from your bedroom. Stick to a schedule. Waking up and retiring at the same day every day, I don't know if that's feasible. It's not for me. Sometimes I have sporadic times given my schedule. So stick to a schedule as much as you can. And if you can't, just, try to work around it. Watch what you eat and when you eat. Avoid heavy meals and alcohol closer to bedtime. Food we know causes heartburn. That liquid again causes you to go to the bathroom. And then this is an interesting point, getting back to the coffee. Caffeine can stay in your system 5 to 6 hours after you consume it. And turn out the lights. Make sure it's dark so it's easier for you to fall asleep. Just a few tidbits on why it's important for us to develop healthy sleeping patterns. It's good for us physically, mentally, emotionally, and also it plays a significant part in our ability to lose weight, and also can add to our weight gain if we're not, getting enough sleep at night. On average, the adults should get between 7 and 8 hours of straight rest a day. In the past few years, researchers have reported that Americans are getting less sleep than they were 20 years ago. I mean, we're going in the reverse here. Let's try to catch that up and realize the importance of sleep and give ourselves that time to rest, because, we need it on more than one level. So, that's that. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you're giving yourself enough time to get sleep. Love yourself. We are all trying to create balance, and sleep is definitely a significant part of that. So moving on, now that we've talked about the benefits of sleep, let's talk about one of the biggest things that sleep affords us: energy. And speaking of energy, as I mentioned earlier in this podcast, I'm up to 21 pounds lost. Is it disappointing because one would have hoped me to lose more? Yeah, it is. But at the same time, that's 21 pounds. I mean, there's something to celebrate in that. So anyways, I went to my doctor recently, obviously, because this is where I'm at. And we took some more blood work, and my A1C actually went down within normal range. So I have a schedule. I'm scheduled to go back in another 3 months. And if I am maintaining the weight loss according to my body type and my A1C and all that jazz is within range, she's going to recommend me stop the medication. I think that's absolutely phenomenal. I am able to stop the medication. That's a success in my book, right? Hopefully I can maintain the lifestyle to never have to go on that medication again. But getting back to sleeping and how does this tie into, the overall topic of today's podcast is that energy. What did I do with it? And how did I, somewhat reverse these symptoms of type 2 diabetes? Was walking. I did a lot of walking. I made it a goal to do 15,000 steps a day, and I did it. And I recommend all of us do that, whether or not you're type 2 diabetic or whatever. The walking has helped me in so many other ways. It just, that time by yourself, rejuvenate, no one else in your head but you, no other obligation but you, and just walking, especially outside. Getting some green time and being out in nature, this sounds so sappy, but it is so freaking true. Helps so much when you have so many things going on. Taking that time out for yourself and implementing that mindset of self-care to say, hold it, pause button, I have to do me. Whether it's a 15-minute walk, whether it's getting up from your desk or just leaving the office after a conference call or a meeting, just to walk around the building, what have you, I highly, highly recommend it. And, start structured. Start in a way that you could ensure long-term success as well as growth. And one of the ways to do that is, make a chart. There's lots of templates out there where you can jot your steps down, get a pedometer, some type of wearable technology that you can track your steps and make a goal and stick to it. I started with 10,000 steps. I was able to meet that. Once I was comfortably meeting that and not dying by the end of it, I upped it to 15,000 steps. That transition from one target to another was hard because I'm like, where the hell am I going to find the time to implement 5,000 additional steps? But I did do it because I made it a goal and I pushed for myself to